Hello everyone, Jules here. Today I'd like to show a truly amazing deck that was published at the end of last year, 2019. That is the Alchemical Visions Tarot by Taussig. Here is the box, and it's in a silver coloured hard cardboard box with a magnetic clasp, and this has been published by Weiser. This is a truly amazing deck. I have been wanting this deck probably soon after I first saw this deck, because it is so unique, and I think it is going to be quite an important deck in the whole tarot genre from here onwards. I think it is already one of the most important tarot decks from the last decade, because it was published at the end of 2019. So I see this as one of the best tarot decks probably of all time. And by that I mean this would be right up there in my top 5. It is a wonderful, amazing deck. I'm not a person who is easily impressed. I don't buy tarot decks very often now in recent years, because I have found that a lot of the decks that are published in more recent years are not quite up to the standard of previous decks from the last decade or two. So for me to be so impressed with this deck, it's partially taken me by surprise. Now, the packaging of the deck, I'm not doing a walkthrough, I'm doing a review. So this is an overview of the deck. This is the type of review that I normally do. There is some packaging that comes with the deck, and it actually says that it contains 78 full cover oversized cards. So I think straight away that will, if people notice the small print, they will be warned. But otherwise, I think there's a few people who have bought this deck and have been a little bit put off by the size of the cards, because this is not a divination deck. You can try to use it as a divination deck, but that is not what it was designed for. Taussig has at least 10 years study of Jungian psychology, so he knows all about symbolism and alchemy, which is what this is what this deck is based on and what it is all about. And it actually says here on the front of the book, 78 keys to unlock your subconscious mind. And that is pretty much what these cards do. Here is the book, and this is a very well written book. There is a lot of information on the symbology of the cards and the meaning. And by the meaning, I don't mean necessarily a divinatory meaning. I mean the deep meaning of the symbolism and the ideas and concepts behind the creation of each of the cards. It's a very well written book. There are no spreads in here, because it's not meant to be a divination deck. There are no spreads. There is a black and white picture of all of the cards, and usually 2 pages on every card. So this will give you an idea of what is in here. You know, it's quite a wonderful book. So no one is going to get quick answers from this book. It's not that type of book, and it's not that type of deck. So I just wanted to let you know that right from the start, because I think a lot of people are used to using tarot only for divination purposes, And this deck is perfect for me because I don't use the tarot much for divination. I haven't been doing that for a number of years. So I have been using the tarot for deep psychological and esoteric contemplation and reflection and study, and that is exactly what this deck is about, and that is what this deck is for. And that is why you have the oversized cards. They are for selection. They are for you to select cards, and the particular cards that interest you, and I think they'd be really good for journaling. And otherwise you could turn the cards over and fan them out and just take a card or two, but they are not meant to be divination. And in the very first 2 pages of the book, it actually says here about the description of the deck. It actually says, these are complex and beautiful cards. These complex and beautiful cards are rich with multiple layers of symbolism and are meant to be studied one by one. So they are saying the word there, studied, and one by one. And so that is not a divination type of deck. So if you are interested in deep self-exploration of the psyche, this is the deck. This is the deck to get. Now on to the cards and talking about the wonderful cards. The cardstock is very good. It's got a semi-gloss finish, and I'm going to have to make sure I've got enough room here because they are rather large cards. They're roughly twice the size of ordinary tarot cards, and they're like a oversized oracle deck size. But as I said, these are not for divination. So here is the Magician. Oh, first of all, here is the back of the cards, and I love the design on the back. It's great. This is collage art, and it's one of the best examples of collage art that I have seen in a long time. Here is the Magician. So I love the use of the black and white, intricate, detailed backgrounds with the beautiful colour collage foreground of each of the cards. There's Roman numerals and the name of the card here. So you have this human, and this is the muscular form of the human. Arthur Taussig has a PhD in biophysics. So he is a very interesting Renaissance man. He's a talented artist, and he has studied Jungian psychology for 10 years, as well as alchemy and Kabbalah and other metaphysical subjects. So here is the human in muscular form with the Ouroboros symbol. And you could spend easily a whole day or a week on each card, easily. The Empress. I'm very taken with this deck, if you can't already tell. There isn't really nothing about this deck that I don't like. I feel that it has been made for me personally. That is how familiar and how well I just automatically related to this deck as soon as I opened the box. The Empress. And this deck has come along at exactly the time that I needed this deck. It's like when the seeker is ready, the tarot appears. The Lovers. This deck is pretty much a representation of the stage of metaphysical journey that I have reached now. This is just perfect for me, this deck. The Lovers. Great Wheel of Fortune card. You've got the Ouroboros here again. And the book is very good for explaining the symbolism of the cards, why these particular symbols are there. I have seen a few other reviews about this deck and very little mention of the book. I don't know why. It is a wonderful book. Wheel of Fortune. Amazing Hanged Man card. I love the quality of these cards too. I think the cardstock is great. Probably one of the best death cards around. You've got Father Time there. Memento Mori. Remember death. Death is always present. Love this Temperance card too. I love this. Very alchemical Temperance card. The Temperance card is particularly about alchemy. A lot of people mistake the meaning of the Temperance card. Temperance means the process of change and transformation, but it's deep change. Temperance is taken from the meaning of the tempering of steel when metal is heated to create things like swords, for example, or any kind of metal object. There is this very, very hot process, heated process, and water is used as well in that process. That is what the Temperance card is meant to be. There is a misunderstanding that temperance is about some kind of moderation, and that confusion has come from the idea of the temperance movement from the 19th century, which was about the prohibition of alcohol. And a lot of people think that the Temperance card is about moderation of some kind. It's not that at all. It is pure alchemy. It is the pure process of alchemy. Deep change, deep transformation. The Tower card. Wow. This Tower card in particular, of the whole deck, this card very much represents the process that I have been in for the last 3 years. And I am still in that process. A lot of people think the Tower card is about one event, a sudden event. It can be about that, but for me it has been an absolute process. So this is to do with the transformation of the psyche. So this card has a very deep association for me, and I'm sure this process is going to continue for this year and for the next few years. It's going to be a slow, deepening process. Tower. The Moon. Beautiful card. The Sun. And some of these cards have got not only symbols and imagery of alchemy, they have got some astrology images as well. This is the Sun, and there's all of these astrological symbols here, which is representing the Sun's journey through the signs of the zodiac each month. So I really like that for the Sun card. And the World. And what all of these little labels are about here, all around the central figure, is it's all connected to the evolution of life and a kind of Darwinism. So it's showing the simplest forms of life here, ranging all the way up through the different types of the simplest form of animals and all the way up to the more advanced form of animals for the World card, the world of nature. So it's a wonderful card. So there's some of the major arcana cards that I particularly like. I'm going to continue with the suits now. Of course, the suits are very well done and quite original, because it's a very unique deck with a very unique approach. So here is the Ace of Wands. Sorry about a little bit of glare here from the semi-gloss of the cards. I love this Three of Wands. Figure of a person glancing out deep in thought, looking outwards and inwards at the same time, probably. It's a really beautiful card. Six of Wands. I love the vibrant use of colour in this one. And the Queen of Wands. I love this Queen of Wands card. Now on to cups. And in the introduction to the book, Arthur Taussig particularly mentions the Crowley-Toth deck. He did study or reflect on he did contemplate the Waite-Smith deck and the Marseille as well, but I get the impression that he was very much more influenced by the Crowley-Toth, because he said that it led to further study of alchemy and Kabbalah and astrology. So he got much deeper into metaphysical study because of that deck. Ace of Cups. As a matter of fact, this Ace of Cups is one of the only few decks. There's only a few cards in here that have got a bit of a Waite-Smith feel. This one is particularly like the Waite-Smith Ace of Cups. But otherwise, and I'm talking about the bird here with the cup. And this is actually a compass. Even though these are scenic pip cards, I have only got, I'll give you an example of this next card. This also has a Waite-Smith feel. I think of all of the suits, the cups are the most Waite-Smith influenced, but the other suits don't have it quite as much. Five of Cups, I think a lot of people will think of this one very much like the Waite-Smith Five of Cups. You've got the Ouroboros here again. This is actually two kind of lizard or snake figures actually. So it's not quite, it's like a double Ouroboros figure. Because there's two heads here. Five of Cups. 10 of Cups. I love this 10 of Cups. This card in particular has got a Kabbalah connection. This is known as the planetary ladder here. And each rung of the ladder is representing a type of spiritual plane or plane of thought. So I really like the use of the ladder. So it's sort of saying, well, you have your earthly life here, and this is the ladder going up to the higher planes of life, the higher planes of existence. 10 of Cups. And the Knight of Cups. I love this. This is like the Grail Knight. Now on to Swords. Ace of Swords. This is one of my favourite cards of the sword suit, Four of Swords. Really love this card. Of the three-dimensional church background with this card. The church room environment, it is like the could almost be the vault of a church, but it's really beautiful. And this is a great Eight of Swords. I love this. I love this. What this is representing is kind of like the blindness of thought, or the blindness of the mind, where you are not seeing things properly. You know, it's like you either got something over your head, like a mask, or you are wandering around in the dark, and this is a blindfold. And this is what happens where contemplation and reflection, and you know, this is someone who is obviously reading the right thing and gaining enlightenment. So there's a big difference here between these two scenes. Someone who is just not able to see things, not, you know, with their thoughts and with their mind, and this is someone who is obviously willing to open their minds and their attitudes and thinking, and they are aiming to achieve a form of enlightenment. Great card. And Queen of Swords, this is one of my favourite cards too. This is a great Queen of Swords. It's got a Joan of Arc feel to this card. Wonderful card. Now for coins. There's pentacles on the cards, but the suit is called coins. Great Ace of Coins. I love this too. So this is a horseman riding into a deep dark forest, a very deep earth image. I think that's perfect for the Ace of Coins. Just perfect for that. Oh, Two of Coins. I love this clown. Just love it. We've got the Two of Coins here. And of course this is a Waite-Smith kind of Two of Coins. I love this up here. Wonderful Two of Coins card. Four of Coins. I love this too. And I'm normally not much of a fan of the Four of Coins or Four of Pentacles. I usually don't like the way it's depicted. I think this is perfect the way this has been represented. This has got a much more philosophical approach, which is how I see, this is how I think the Four of Coins should be understood. And I love the four elements up here. Each of these representing the four elements. We've got one. These are the symbols for Earth, by the way. These are These are the earth symbols. These represent in alchemy and in astrology, this is a symbol for earth, the planet earth. So there's 4 of those in here, 4 of coins, 9 of coins, I love this too. And some of the cards have got an astrological symbol. Now this is the symbol for Neptune. And these are Arthur Taussig's own choice of astrological symbols. These are not the usual associations of the Golden Dawn. So I normally follow, nearly always, the Golden Dawn associations, but with this deck I'm going to take what is offered, and because I really love this deck, so I think that is a great 9 of coins. I actually can understand the Neptune symbol. That is actually more from a numerology perspective, but I really do like this card. 9 of coins. And this Queen of Coins card, it's got to be the best, one of the best ones I've ever seen. You have got all of these different stages of life for this Queen of Coins card. You've got the crone here. This I would think is the maiden type of. These are the more mature mother type, or you could say creatrix elements or phases of the life of the Queen of Coins, the earthly cycles of life. But it is a wonderful, wonderful card. Oh well, I've gotten to show all of the cards that I wanted to show, of the ones that I really like the most of this deck. I mean, I could easily have shown the whole deck, but of course that would take too long. I am very impressed with this deck, and it is already meaning, personally meaning quite a lot to me and for me. It is just such a wonderful, deep deck of exploration that I don't think it's not for everyone, obviously. I think for people who only see tarot from the perspective of divination, this is not your kind of deck. But for people like me who use tarot in a more esoteric and exploration of the psyche approach, so a psycho-spiritual approach, this deck is perfect for that. So I just wanted to do this review today and share my deep interest and regard for this great deck, and I'll put some details below the video, and I hope you enjoyed my review of the Alchemical Visions Tarot. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.